Hello, and welcome to Historical Humans Reads, where we take primary sources and bring them to your screen. I'm Colum Coleman, and today we are reading from The School for Husbands by Moliere. First performed in Paris in 1661 during the early modern period of French history, The School for Husbands is Moliere's first full length play. It is a satirical comedy targeting various aspects of 17th century French society, but is centered around the relationship between men and women. As The School for Husbands is a play, I am joined by Justin, who will be playing the part of Valere, the secret lover of the lady Isabelle. Aaron, who will be playing the part of Ergaste, a valet to Valere. And Caleb, who will be playing Isabelle, the adult ward of the wealthy Sganarelle. Well, I take on the role of Sganarelle himself, a flamboyant and controlling man who intends to marry his ward against her will. Today, we will be performing Act 2 of The School for Husbands. With that, let's begin. That will do. I know the house and the person, simply from the description you have given me.
Heaven be propitious, and favor today the artful contrivance of an innocent love.
Do you say they have told you that his name is Valere?
Yes.
That will do. Do not make yourself uneasy about it. Go inside and leave me to act. I am going at once to talk to this young madcap.
For a girl, I'm planning a pretty bold scheme, but the unreasonable severity with which I am treated will be my excuse to every right mind.
Let us lose no time. Here it is. Who's there? Why am I dreaming? Hulua, I say. Hulua, somebody, hulua. I do not wonder after this information that he came up to me just now so meekly, but I must make haste and teach this foolish aspirant. A plague on the lubberly ox. Do you mean to knock me down, coming and sticking yourself in front of me like a post?
Sir, I regret.
You are the man I want.
Sir?
You. Your name is Valere, is it not?
Yes.
I am come to speak to you if you will allow me.
Can I have the happiness of rendering you any service?
No, but I do propose to do you a good turn. That is what brings me to your house.
To my house, sir.
To your house? Need you be so much astonished?
I have good reason for it. I am delighted with the honor.
Do not mention the honor, I beseech you.
Will you not come in?
There is no need.
I pray you enter.
No, I will go no further.
As long as you stay there, I cannot listen to you.
I will not budge.
Well, I must yield. Quick, since this gentleman is resolved upon it, bring a chair.
I am going to talk standing.
As if I could permit such a thing.
What an intolerable delay!
Such incivility would be quite unpardonable.
Nothing can be so rude as not to listen to people who wish to speak to us.
I obey you then.
You cannot do better. So much ceremony is hardly necessary. Will you listen to me?
Undoubtedly, and most willingly.
Tell me, do you know that I am guardian to a tolerably young and passably handsome girl who lives in this neighborhood and whose name is Isabella?
Yes.
As you know it, I need not tell it to you, but do you know likewise that as I find her charming, I care for her otherwise than as a guardian, and that she is destined for the honor of being my wife?
No.
I tell it you, then, and also that it is as well that your passion, if you please, should leave her in peace.
Who? I, sir?
Yes, you. Let us have no more dissembling.
Who has told you my heart is smitten by her?
Those who are worthy of belief.
Be more explicit.
She herself.
She?
Is that not enough? Like a virtuous young girl who has loved me from childhood, she told me all just now. Moreover, she charged me to tell you that since she has everywhere been followed by you, her heart, which your pursuit greatly offends, has only too well understood the language of your eyes. That your secret desires are well known to her, and that to try more fully to explain a passion which is contrary to the affection she entertains for me is to give yourself needless trouble.
She, you say, of her own accord, makes you?
Yes, makes me come to you and give you this frank and plain message. Also, that having observed the violent love wherewith your soul is smitten, she would earlier have let you know what she thinks of you, if, perplexed as she were, she could have found anyone to send this message by. But that at length she was painfully compelled to make use of me, in order to assure you, as I have told you, that her affection is denied to all save me. That you have been oogling her long enough, and that if you have ever so little brains, you will carry your passion somewhere else. Farewell till our next meeting. That is what I have to tell you.
Ergaste, what say you to such an adventure?
See how he is taken aback.
For my part, I think there's nothing in it to displease you. That a rather subtle mystery is concealed under it. In short, that this message is not sent by one who desires to see the love which she inspires in you.
He takes it as he ought.
You think it a mystery?
Yes. But he is looking at us. Let's get out of his sight.
How his face showed his confusion. Doubtless he did not expect this message. Let me call Isabella. She is showing the fruits which education produces on the mind. Virtue is all she cares for, and her heart is so deeply steeped in it that she is offended if a man merely looks at her.
I fear that my lover, full of his passion, has not understood my message rightly. Since I am so strictly guarded, I must risk one which shall make my meaning clearer.
Here I am, returned again.
Well?
Your words wrought their full purpose. I have done his business. He wanted to deny that his heart was touched, but when I told him I came from you, he stood immediately dumbfounded and confused. I do not believe he will come here any more.
Ah, what do you tell me? I much fear the contrary, and that he will still give us more trouble.
And why do you fear this?
You had hardly left the house when, going to the window to take a breath of air, I saw a young man at yonder turning, who first came, most unexpectedly, to wish me a good morning, on the part of this impertinent man, and then threw right into my chamber a box enclosing a letter, sealed like a love letter. I meant at once to throw it out after him, but he had already reached the end of the street. I feel very much annoyed at it.
Just see his trickery and rascality.
It is my duty quickly to have this box and letter set back to this detestable lover. And for that purpose I need someone, for I dare not venture to ask yourself.
On the contrary, darling, it shows me all the more your love and faithfulness. My heart joyfully accepts this task. You oblige me in this more than I can tell you.
Take it then.
Well, let us see what he has dared to say to you.
Heavens, take care not to open it.
Why so?
Will you make him believe that it is I, a respectable girl, always to refuse to read the letters a man sends her? The curiosity which she thus betrays shows a secret pleasure in listening to gallantries. I think it is right that this letter should be prematurely returned to Valere, unopened, that he may be better to learn his day the great contempt which my heart feels for him, so that his passion may from this time lose all hope, and never more attempt such a transgression.
But truth, she is right in this. Well, your virtue charms me as well as your discretion. I see that my lessons have borne fruit in your mind. You show yourself worthy of being my wife.
Still, I do not like to stand in the way of your wishes. The letter is in your hands, and you can open it.
No, far from it. Your reasons are too good. I go to acquit myself of the task you impose upon me. I have likewise to say a few words quite near, and will then return hither to set you at rest. How delighted I am to find her such a discreet girl, to have in my house a treasure of honor, to consider a loving look treason, to receive a love letter as a supreme insult, and to have it carried back by the gallant myself. I should have known, seeing all this, if my brother's ward would have acted thus on a similar occasion. Upon my word, girls are what you make them. Hulua,
Who is there?
take this and tell your master not to presume so far as to write letters again, and send them in gold boxes, and say also that Isabelle is mightily offended at it. See, it has not even been opened. He will perceive what regard she has for his passion, and what success he can expect in it.
What has that surly brute just given you?
This letter, sir, as well as this box, which he pretends that Isabella has received from you, and about which he says she is in a great rage. She returns it to you unopened. Read it quickly, and let us see if I am mistaken.
This letter will no doubt surprise you. Both the resolution to write to you and the means of conveying it to your hands might be thought very bold in me, but I am in such a condition that I can no longer restrain myself. Well-founded repugnance to marriage with which I am threatened in 6 days makes me risk everything. And in the determination to free myself from it by whatever means, I thought I'd rather choose you than despair. Yet do not think you owe me all to my evil fate. It is not the constraint in which I find myself that has given rise to the sentiments I entertain for you, but it hastens the avowal of them, and makes me transgress the decorum which proprieties of my sex require. It depends on you alone to make me shortly your own. I wait only until you have declared your intentions to me before acquainting you with the resolution I have taken. But, above all, remember that time presses, and that two hearts which love each other ought to understand even the slightest hint.
Well, sir, is not this contrivance original? For a young girl, she is not so very ignorant. Would one have thought her capable of these love stratagems?
Ah, I consider her altogether adorable. This evidence of her wit and tenderness doubles my love for her, and strengthens the feelings with which her beauty inspires me.
Oh, here comes the dupe. Think what you will say to him.
Oh, thrice and 4 times blessed be the law which forbids extravagance in dress. No longer will the troubles of husbands be so great. Women will now be checked in their demands. Oh, how delighted I am with the king for this proclamation. How I wish for the peace of the same husbands, that he would forbid coquetry as well as lace and gold or silver embroidery. I have bought the law on purpose, so that Isabella may read it aloud, and by, when she is at leisure, it shall be our entertainment after supper. Well, Mr. Sandy Hair, would you like to send again love letters in boxes of gold? You doubtless thought that you had found some young flirt, eager for an intrigue, and melting before pretty speeches. You see how your presents are received. Believe me, you waste your powder and shot. Isabella is a discreet girl. She loves me, and your love insults her. Aim at someone else and be off.
Yes. Your merits, to which everyone yields, are too great an obstacle, sir. Though my passion be sincere, it is a folly to contend with you for the love of Isabella.
It really is folly.
Be sure I should not have yielded to the fascination of her charms, could I have foreseen that this wretched heart would find a rival so formidable as yourself.
I believe it.
Now, I know better than to hope. I yield to you, sir, and that too without a murmur.
You do well.
Reason will have it so, for you to shine with so many virtues, that I should be wrong to regard with an angry eye the tender sentiments which Isabella entertains for you.
Of course.
Yes, yes, I yield to you, but at least I pray you, and it is the only favor, sir, begged by a wretched lover, of whose pangs this day are the sole cause. I pray you, I say, to assure Isabella that, if my heart has been burning with love for her these 3 months, that passion is spotless, and has never fostered a thought of her at which her honor could be offended.
I.
That, relying solely on my heart's choice, my only design was to obtain her for my wife, if destiny had not opposed an obstacle to this pure flame in you, who captivated her heart.
Very good.
That whatever happens, she must not think that her charms can ever be forgotten. That to whatever decrees of heaven I must submit, my fate is to love her to my last breath, and that, if anything checks my pursuit, is the just respect I have for your merits.
That is wisely spoken. I shall go at once to repeat these words, which will not be disagreeable to her. But if you will listen to me, try to act so as to drive this passion from your mind. Farewell.
The excellent dupe.
I feel a great pity for this poor wretch, so full of affection. But it is unfortunate for him to have taken it into his head to try to storm a fortress which I have captured. Never did lover display so much grief for a love letter returned unopened. At last he loses all hope and retires. But he earnestly entreated me to tell you that, at least in loving you, he never fostered a thought at which your honor could be offended, and that relying solely on his heart's choice, his only desire was to obtain you for a wife. If destiny had not opposed an obstacle to his pure flame through me, who captivated your heart, that whatever happens, you must not think that your charms can ever be forgotten by him, that to whatever decrees of heaven he must submit, his fate is to love you to his last breath, and that if anything checks his pursuit, it is the just respect he has for my merits. These are his very words, and far from blaming him, I think him a gentleman, and I pity him for loving you.
His passion does not contradict my secret belief, and his looks have always been assured me of his innocence.
What do you say?
Oh, that it is hard that you should so greatly pity a man whom I hate like death, and that if you loved me as much as you say, that you would feel how he insults me by his addresses.
But he did not know your inclinations, and from the uprightness of his intentions, his love does not deserve.
Is it good intentions? I ask, to try to carry people off? Is it like a man of honor to form designs for marrying me by force and taking me out of your hands? As if I were a girl to live after such a disgrace.
Oh,
Yes, yes, I have been informed that his base lover speaks of carrying me off by force. For my part, I cannot tell by what secret means he has learned so early that you intended to marry me in 8 days at the latest, since it was only yesterday you told me so. But they say that he intends to be beforehand with you and not let me untie my lot to yours.
that is a bad case.
Oh, pardon me. He is eminently a gentleman who only feels towards me.
He is wrong. This is past joking.
Yes, your good nature encourages his folly. If you had spoken sharply to him just now, he would have feared your rage and my resentment. For even since his letter was rejected, he mentioned his design, which has shocked me. As I have been told, his love retains the belief that it is well received by me, that I dread marry you. Whatever people may think, and should be rejoiced to see myself away from you.
He is mad.
Before you, he knows how to disguise, and his plan is to amuse you. Be sure the wretch makes sport of you by these fair speeches. I must confess that I am very unhappy. After all my pains to live honorably, and to repel the addresses of such a vile seducer, I must be exposed to his vexations and infamous designs against me.
There fear nothing.
For my part, I tell you that if you do not strongly reprove such an impudent attempt, and do not find quickly means of ridding me of such bold persecutions, I will abandon all and not suffer any longer the insults which I receive by him.
Do not be so troubled, my little wife. There, I am going to find him and give him a good blowing up.
Tell him at least plainly, so that it may be in vain for him to gainsay it, that I have been told of his intentions upon good authority, that, after this message, whatever he may undertake, I defy him to surprise me, and, lastly, that without wasting any more sighs over times, he must know what are my feelings for you, that if he wishes not to be the cause of some mischief, he should not require to have the same thing told twice over.
I will tell him what is right.
But all this in such a way as to show him that I really speak seriously.
There, I will forget nothing, I assure you.
I await your return impatiently. Pray, make as much haste as you can. I pine when I am a moment without seeing you.
There, my ducky, my heart's delight. I will return immediately. Uh-oh. Was there ever a girl more discreet and better behaved? Oh, how happy I am, and what a pleasure it is to find a woman just after my own heart. Yes, that is how our women ought to be, and not, like some I know, downright flirts, who allow themselves to be courted, and make their simple husbands to be pointed at all over Paris. Hola, my enterprising fine gallant!
Sir, what brings you here again?
Your follies!
How?
You know well enough what I wish to speak to you about. To tell you plainly, I thought you had more sense. You have been making fun of me with your fine speeches and secretly nurse silly expectations. Look at you. I wish to treat you gently, but you will end by making me very angry. Are you not ashamed, considering who you are, to form such designs as you do? To intend to carry off a respectable girl and interrupt a marriage on which her whole happiness depends?
Who told you this strange piece of news, sir?
Do not let us dissimulate. I have it from Isabella, who sends you word by me for the last time that she has plainly enough shown you what her choice is, that her heart, entirely mine, is insulted by such a plan, that she would rather die than suffer such an outrage, that you will cause a terrible uproar unless you put an end to all this confusion.
If she really said what I had just heard, I confess that my passion has nothing more to expect. These expressions are plain enough to let me see that all is ended. I must respect the judgment she has passed.
If you doubt it, then, and all fancy the complaints that I have made to you on her behalf are mere pretenses, do you wish that she herself should tell you her feelings to set you right? I willingly consent to it. Follow me. You shall hear if I have added anything, and if her young heart hesitates between us two.
What? You bring Valere to me? What is your design? Are you taking his part against me? And do you wish, charmed by his rare merits, to compel me to love him and to endure his visits?
No, my love. Your infection is too dear for me for that. But he believes that my messages are untrue. He thinks it is I who speak, and cunningly represent you as full of hatred for him and of tenderness for me. I wish, therefore, from your own mouth, infallibly to cure him of a mistake which nourishes his love.
What? Is not my soul completely bare to your eyes? And can you still doubt whom I love?
Yes, all that this gentleman has told me on your behalf, madame, might as well be a surprise, a man. I confess I doubted it. This final sentence, which decides the fate of my great love, moves my feelings so much that it can be no offense if I wish to have it repeated.
No. No, such a sentence should not surprise you. Sganarelle told you my very sentiments. I consider them to be sufficiently founded on justice, to make their full truth clear. Yes, I desire it to be known, and I ought to be believed, that fate here presents two objects to my eyes, who, inspiring me with different sentiments, agitate my heart. One by just a choice, in which my honor is involved, has all my esteem and love, and the other, in return for his affection, has all my anger and aversion. The presence of the one is pleasing and dear to me, and it fills me with joy. But the sight of the other inspires me with secret emotions of hatred and horror. To see myself the wife of all the one is all my desire, and rather than belong to the other, I would lose my life. But I have sufficiently declared my real sentiments, and I languish too long under his severe torture. He whom I love must use diligence to make him whom I hate lose all hope, and deliver me a happy marriage from a suffering more terrible than death.
Yes, darling, I intend to gratify your wish.
It is the only way to make me happy.
You soon shall be so.
I know it is a shame for a young woman so openly to declare her love.
No, no.
But, seeing what my lot is, such liberty must be allowed me. I can, without blushing, make so tender a confession to him who I already regard as a husband.
Yes, my poor child, darling of my soul.
Let him think, then, how to prove his passion for me.
Yes, here, kiss my hand.
Let him, without more citing, hasten a marriage which is all I despise, and accept the assurance which I give him, never to listen to the vows of another.
Oh, oh, my little pretty face, my poor darling. You shall not pine long, I promise you. There, say no more. You see, I do not make her speak. It is me alone she loves.
Well, madame, this is sufficient explanation. I learn by your words that you urge me to do. I shall soon know how to rid your presence of him who so greatly offends you.
You could not give me greater pleasure, for, to the brief, the sight of him is intolerable. It is odious to me, and I detest it so much. Do I offend you by speaking thus? Do I...
Heavens, by no means. I do not say that, but in truth I pity his condition. You sow your aversion too openly.
I cannot show it too much on such an occasion.
Yes, you shall be satisfied. In 3 days your eyes shall no longer see the object which is odious to you.
Sorry.
That is right, and farewell.
I pity your misfortune, but...
No, you will hear no complaint from me. The lady assuredly does us both justice, and I shall endeavor to satisfy her wishes. Farewell.
Poor fellow, his grief is excessive. Stay, embrace me. I am her second self. I think he is greatly to be pitied.
Not at all.
For the rest, your love touches me to the quick, little darling, and it means I shall have its reward. 8 days are too long for your impatience. Tomorrow I will marry you, and will not invite.
Tomorrow?
You'll modestly pretend to shrink from it, but I know well the joy these words afford you. You wish it were already over.
But
Let us get everything ready for this marriage.
Heavens, inspire me a plan to put this off.
This has been an excerpt from the School for Husbands on Historical Humans Reads. Plays are one of the most difficult literary forms for us to cover here on HH Reads. They are also the most fun. So if you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more excerpts from original texts like this one, please let us know by subscribing to be notified of the next one, liking and leaving a comment about the work you would like to hear. Thank you for listening.